Good afternoon and welcome back to UKSG Blue 2023. My name is Hud601. I'm going to be your host for the next few hours. And coming up now, we have Beep's Escape with TinyTim78. Take it away.
Hello there, folks. Hello, hello. Hello, UKSG Blue. How we doing? Hello there, folks. My name is TinyTim78. I'm here to bring you a blast from the past that's actually from the present. It is a retro-style platformer from earlier on this year. It is Beep's Escape. With me, I have the one and only blindfolded Babberis Bricks.
Hello, I've seen this game.
Yeah, he has indeed. He actually did his first speedrun of it this week and managed to beat my PB, so that shows you exactly how good I am. But anyway, we're going to crack on with this game, and we're going to get started. This is a very interesting platformer. It's very similar to a lot of the games I've run in the past, so hopefully you enjoy. Rufflebricks will be giving you some commentary because I'll probably be concentrating, but we'll see. Right, I'll be ready. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go!
Hey. All right, so this is Beep's Escape, and Tim is grabbing his first item here because this is very similar to the Dizzy games from the Spectrum area in that you have to grab items in order to make other stuff happen. He used the crowbar at the beginning there to knock a box into the water, so he had a platform to get across. He's now picked up a chainsaw. If you look at the bottom there, you'll notice that he has 3 slots in his inventory, which means that he can only carry 3 items at any time. That makes some of the routing decisions that you have to make in this game a little gnarly. Beep here, as you can see, is a robot. The cutscene that Tim skipped at the beginning shows the plot of the game, which is basically that Beep has been a naughty robot. He was graffitiing in his laboratory, and due to his gross negligence, the laboratory exploded. So now the robots, rather than take him to HR, as you might expect, actually just want to kill him instead. So Tim there just grabbed a circuit board. This is very similar to the diamonds in Magic Land Dizzy. There are 30 circuit boards around the factory lab. What is
lab,
this area?
I think,
yeah, that's you need to grab. Most of them are in quite obvious positions. Some of them you have to be a little more esoteric to get the hold of. But you need 30 of them by the end of the game. So Tim's going to be making sure he grabs them all as he goes along. Managed to get a pump handle from the room in the top right there. Also in that room, I don't know if you saw, but on the right of that room there were some bags of fertilizer. And on the left-hand side of that room, there was a dangling cable. Make a note of both of those. Now, there's some drips in this room here. You have to go through this room, I think, about 8 times, maybe more of it. But basically, this is a classically modelled on ZX Spectrum games from the past, in that basically, if you touch anything, you die.
Yep.
So Beep is trying to avoid pretty much anything that moves. Now, he just used the pump handle there to open the pump, and that basically flushed the water out, enabling us to get to this new area called the Upper Caves. Tim has grabbed the elevator keyboard there, which enables you to access the elevator that we walked past earlier, or trundled past. I don't think we can call what Beep does walking.
Probably not.
No, he's trundling along with Out of Care in the World. You'll also notice if you look around the landscape, there are like CCTV cameras watching Beep as he goes along. Not that important if you get spotted by them, but like it's a nice little background detail to show that he is very much on the run.
You will have to have a good look at them later on because there's something that
Oh,
changes
yes,
the
I'll
behaviour
talk
of those
about
cameras
that.
later, yep.
Yeah, so it's got the elevator keyboard. Now, this elevator opens up a few new areas to progress the level. That laser there, we can't do anything about that yet, so we're going down to the sewers, where Tim is now going to go to the left. And there's this somewhat chilly room here. Did you forget the bottle, Tim?
I forgot the bottle. Yeah, I forgot the bottle.
That's okay. The bottle is not too far away, so Tim can get that pretty soon. He's got the key there. This is a small key that he's going to use fairly soon. He's also got a chainsaw. But this tank here, it contains some very, very chilly liquid. And we need a bottle to be able to collect it. Something else you'll notice is that there is a circuit board on top of the elevator. Tim cannot actually get that as of yet, so you're going to see that for a while going up and down with us, but without actually collecting it. So this is the chemistry lab here, and there's a robot on the right there called Boop. Much inspiration was used for the names of the characters in this game.
Yep.
And so we got the bottle now, so Tim's going down to the bottom again.
Yep, we need to put the bottle down. We should have got that the first time, but never mind. We'll
Yeah.
get there.
That's all right. Yeah,
Yep.
there's a lot to remember in this game.
Yeah. This game it's all about moving the items. It's a very standard sort of platform game, a bit like the Dizzy, as Rufflequicks was saying, but it is very easy to forget something. So that's why I've got Rufflequicks to help me remember.
Yeah, it's a feng shui simulator, basically. You know, this is how you get your Marie Kondo on. So going to the right here, Tim is going to pick up a fire extinguisher. Fortunately, there is conveniently one about the size and shape of Beep. Now, Beep has just lost his first life there as a result of a very tiny amount of water landing on his head. I'm not sure what era this robot was made, but it was before the widespread waterproofing happened in the electronics world. Fortunately, though, Tim is playing in casual mode, so if you look at the bottom right, you'll see that his life count is infinite. Now, he's going into these lockers here. One of the lockers contains a circuit board. The other one needs to be opened with a small key. Out of that, you get some mouldy cheese.
Lovely.
We don't know whether the cheese was mouldy when it was first put in the locker or not, but it certainly is now. Another circuit board there. And then Tim is going to go to the left. This lift here that he's just walked across is a red herring. Looks like you should be able to use a keyboard to operate that, but you actually can't, so you just ignore that. Much like the Dizzy games, and I think some of the other stuff like Pajama-Rama back in the day that had this format. Fair amount of the items are red herrings, so they're just there to kind of throw you off. Tim used the chainsaw there to get into the mine here by sawing the barricades off. And he now managed to grab some dynamite, which he's going to use a little bit later. There was also a loaf of stale bread in that room, which I think it's implied that that's supposed to match up with the mouldy cheese in some way, but it doesn't. And this is the lab that was under Beep's care. You'll notice Beep was here, scribbled on the left-hand side. And Tim has found a watering can that for some reason was just carelessly placed on top of the factory equipment there. That is going to be given to one of the NPCs on the first floor very shortly.
That's where we're going next, yeah.
Tim's leaving the cheese there, partly because it smells, but also partly because we don't need it just yet.
I do need to get it later.
Yes. So now Tim's heading back past past the chemistry lab, and now we're going into the greenhouse, where we're going to meet Blip, the gardener. And yeah, behind this tree here, there is a circuit board. That's very much a nod to Dizzy with the diamonds behind the fences. And Blip here, very thankful for us retrieving his watering can. So he gives us a keyboard that we can use for the storeroom, I believe. Here's the lovely drippy room again, catchily known as the perimeter.
Yeah, deeply drippy.
Any Right Said Fred fans in chat? So now we've got the dynamite here. Tim's going into the upper caves and he's going to use it in hot and explosive, or hot and sweaty as I keep calling it. Lovely, nice multicolour explosion there. That gets the rocks out of the way. Tim's got to get past these flames, which very beautifully rendered, I'd say. They look a lot like the flames from Marble Zone in Sonic 1. Tim's got the diamond there. That's going to come in handy pretty soon.
Yep.
Now Tim's going up the caves here, and there's a little glitch in this version of the game, which yes, Tim just had it.
Timing.
There we go. So yeah, for some reason, it only seems to happen on these blue platforms, but if you jump onto them at a certain way or a certain angle, Beep's tank tracks go into overdrive, and he can't actually jump. So you have to actually just drop off the platform to reset Beep so that you can have another go.
Okay, I think we're going okay. I haven't forgotten anything else, have I?
I think
okay.
you're good so far.
Yep.
Yeah, like we're getting into the more complicated bits soon, so
Yep.
I'll keep an eye out.
Yep, okay. We're going to go down to the next floor now.
Yeah, so that laser that you saw earlier, how would you do a laser in real life? Obviously, by putting a diamond under it so that it deflects the laser into itself, blowing it up. Although Tim is skipping a lot of these cutscenes with the Q buttons, so because of that you don't get to see a lot of the animations. He's picked up another keyboard there, and now he's activated this tank here so that it poured some cryogenic liquid into the bottle that Tim placed earlier. Grabbed another circuit board there, and before Tim goes back up, he's now going to go back and get the bottle.
Yep.
We don't want to make that mistake again.
No, got to have a lot of bottle.
Don't want to lose your bottle.
Yep, got to have some bottle. This will be the last time you're actually down here now, though, thankfully.
Yes, yes. So these stinky sewers here, we're going to say sayonara to those because we've got everything we need from this section of the map, so that's gone.
Right, now it's the bit
Circuit board there is now still mocking us at the moment.
This is the bit I'm trying to remember how to do. I think it's the purple one I drop here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
dropped
the purple
one here.
Yeah, so that's the storing keyboard.
I actually dropped it in the wrong place. I should have dropped it at the floor.
That's all right. You can still pick it up there.
But I need to get my
easily.
cheese now as well.
Okay. Yeah. So Tim's picking up the cheese. Hold your nose, everyone.
Grab the cheese.
Going up to the third floor now. On the left-hand side of the third floor, you'll see some guard robots who will shoot at us if we go to them. So we're not going to go there yet. Tim's dropping the cheese there just so that he can pick it up at a slightly more convenient point later. He's now using the workshop keyboard to get into this workshop, which features an NPC called Bloop. And we're not going to speak to him yet, but we are going to pick up this pot of grease on the left and this umbrella on the right.
Gotta have a brolly.
Gotta have a brolly, well,
Yep.
especially if you are susceptible to water as
Yes.
as Beep. Now, unfortunately, Beep can't use the umbrella on the drips in the perimeter room, so we do still have to dodge those. But there is something important that we will be using that for later. Meantime, though, we need to walk across to the left-hand side of the map. This is quite a long trek here, so if you've got time for a quick thing to read, Huds, now would be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a few donations come in, so I'll start with this one. Big the Dave donates $10. Says, "I'm so beeping excited to see Tim running again." Apologies for the language. And that one has gone to the Calico incentive to pet the kitty.
Thank you,
We're
Dave.
just $90 away from meeting.
Awesome. All right, so we're back to the caves here. So this is a pretty tricky bit of routing here. So Tim's dropping the pot of grease here because he's going to pick that up a little bit later. And now he's going to do a little skip that I found the other day, actually, where if Beep falls too far, as you see, he gets stunned. He doesn't lose a life, but he gets stunned. But if you activate the menu while you're in the stunned position, you can actually still move whilst you're stunned. So and here, Tim's grabbing this lighter. For some reason, the lighter has been kept in an ice cavern. But that will come into play soon. You use the cryogenic liquid to get past the water there by freezing it over. Leaving the lighter there so you can pick it up later. And now, here's where we use the umbrella, because for some reason this bridge goes directly under the waterfall. As in, like, the water goes through it. So Tim's using the brolly there so he can get past it. He's picked up the skull key and the oxygen canister, both of which we need, although not necessarily imminently. And then Tim's going to drop the umbrella and pick up the rope. And then there's going to be a nice little bit of item shuffling in the above room, I think.
I'm going to drop the rope and the key.
Yes.
And pick up the grease.
Yeah, exactly. So this upper caves here sort of functions as a crossroads for which we can kind of leave and pick up items, just because this bit of route is probably the most complicated section of the run. Yep. Now we're going past Hot and Sweaty again, and going past it now, and there's a bat in this room that Tim has to dodge. If you actually get hit by it, the text basically just says you got killed by a bat. Not sure why that kills you, but it does. And on the right here is a reference to, you'll notice there's a boxing glove. And there is a journal next to the boxing glove that tells you that the boxing glove belongs to someone under the name of D. That is in fact a reference to Dizzy. Not sure which game, but yeah, there's no NPCs in this game called D, so that's very much just a kind of a lore item. Suggestion that maybe Beep shares the same world as Dizzy, who knows? Now, this level here is called Freedom, this room, and this is where we need to go to actually end the game, but we can't yet. There's a boat on the left, and the boat is currently deflated. There are 4 items that Tim needs in order to be able to inflate it and make it a working boat. One of which, the oxygen canister, Tim has left there. The other 3 we're going to get a bit later. Right now, though, Tim has got a pickaxe from the above there, and also a pair of shears. The shears, for those who don't know, that is a item that Argic was too scared to use on his hair last time we had a UKSG.
That wasn't me, Argic.
And now, as you can see, there's a rather thin bit of wall over the right here. Tim's using the pickaxe to get through that. Here's the top of the waterfall. And on the right here is a spade. Now, Tim can't actually get to the rest of this room yet. We're going to use the spade and a couple of the other items in order to be able to get there. So
we're going to drop the shears now.
yeah, and
Up
then
this bit.
grabbing the rope, grabbing the skull key. So we need all 3 of these items for the next section. So Tim is now going to go back to the greenhouse. We're going to ignore Blip because he's just talking about his plants at this point. And once again, having to avoid these rather annoying drips here. There we go.
We're going to do some old-style, Dizzy-style vandalism here. We're gonna...
Yes, so the ground on the left of the greenhouse is very soft, so Tim's using the spade to dig through it. Now he's using the rope to get down there, and he's climbing down. Now, I actually found a skip here recently. I'll talk about that in a moment, but first I have to take down a very important bit of information here.
Yep.
So Tim's about to unlock the treasure chest, and he's got a
55110.
55110. So yeah, this code is random in every playthrough of the game. 55110. So basically what we're doing here, we're making a note of the code now, and so that Tim can just drop the scroll relatively soon, and we can just use the code as we get to it. But basically that's going to unlock a console later on. Now Tim's grabbing a lighter. And you notice he jumped down a waterfall there as well. Like, if you do that to the side of the water, you can drop down safely, and it's a nice little shortcut to get the lighter. Grabbing the shears as well. The shears, I think, is just going to be... We're going to just put that somewhere over the right,
yeah,
I think.
I can't quite remember where I put it, but...
That's all right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, I'm trying to remember what happens next.
Yeah, it's the key cards next.
That's right, yes.
I'll go and use that key card that I picked up earlier. Well, actually, leaving it there is going to be fine, because I
Yeah.
can just pick it up on the way up.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, first or second floor is fine for that key card. So, and here it is,
Yep.
just sat there, chilling near the lift.
Yep, there we go.
Up to the top. So yeah, this key card opens the
Got the shears
storeroom.
here.
Yeah, got the shears there. This opens the storeroom, which is at the top of this room here. Something to notice as well, by the way, there's a lot of dead robots lying around in this. This is why Beep is kind of scared for his life, because this is what they do with employees who don't do their work.
Right.
So now up here is the acetone, which is, for those who don't know, is a paint thinner that is highly flammable. I didn't know this on my first playthrough, so I was very confused. He's also picked up some safety gloves, and in that robot there was a hidden circuit board. There's also a vat of red paint in the room, but we can't do anything with that yet, but it does come into play a little bit later. Right now, though, Tim's going to go back down to the first floor.
I'm going to give the gloves in first.
Yeah,
That's what I normally do.
So yeah, these safety gloves here belong to Boop, who's working in the chemistry lab. I haven't tried this myself, but apparently a little tidbit about this is if you try and give the boxing glove to this robot, he basically just questions your mental health, so don't do that. And then there's a circuit up here, and Boop has basically, because we gave him his security gloves back, he's now given us a USB stick that contains a virus. That's going to come in very handy.
We're about to do some real destructive stuff just
Yes,
now. We're about
so
to really wreck the place.
remember I mentioned the fertilizer and the dangling cable earlier on. So now those are going to come into play. So basically Tim's going to go up to the top of this flooded storeroom here. He's going to put the acetone next to the fertilizer, and now he's going to use the lighter to set fire to it. That sets off an alarm in the adjacent room, which means the 2 guard robots who would normally tell you to go away run for safety, only to run into that dangling cable, so they electrocute themselves. And now we can go into the computer room without any bother.
He is definitely as destructive as Dizzy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're very much playing this from the bad guy's POV, let's be honest. Like, this is sort of like Untitled Goose Game for robots. But like going up to the second floor now, and
You're going to need my code?
yep, got your code here. So the code is 55110, but I will repeat that in a moment.
55110.
55110.
55110.
And you notice the it's a little bit choppy, the movement on that. You actually skip 2 along when you press it, so you have to go back 1. But basically what that did is Tim used the virus there to banjax the security system. So if you look at this CCTV cameras now, they're going haywire. They're looking all over the place. And that enables us to now go to this top floor, which we couldn't get to previously. Something to note also on the left there's a battery There's a few of those batteries around the game, and if you are playing this on normal mode, then those would count as extra lives if you lost a life.
Oh!
But because this is infinite lives, then the batteries cannot be interacted with.
I'm having very bad drip luck here.
Yeah, this is I think one of the harder movement rooms in the game because you've got several drips to try and get past. That robot there, by the way, in the robot factory tells you about how the robots are grown rather than built. They're grown in those tanks. Bit of a weird thing to volunteer to someone who's just come up to this floor. There's also an RS232 keyboard on top of that there. That's a red herring item. We don't need it. I think that's just a boomer reference.
There's a lot of those red herrings in the game. Dizzy normally has quite a few of those, but this game really does have quite a lot.
Yeah.
And when you're playing it through the first time, you're wondering, well, what's this for? What's this for?
But Tim basically grabbed an electric motor from the factory at the top there. There's also other stuff to do in that room, but we can't do it just yet. Yeah, don't need the shears
yeah, I just got, just in case I need the inventory space. I forgot.
I think you need to get 2 items here,
yeah,
so yeah.
I need to drop them.
So yeah, Tim's now heading back over to the mines, where there's a minecart. Always way more mine carts. Not yet. There's the cable in there, but you can get that on the way back. So.
Oh, right, okay. I thought I was missing something that I needed in this next screen.
Yeah.
No, I've got the motor. Yeah, I'm good.
Always way more minecarts in games than there are in real life, I find. I don't know if devs are just miners.
The red herring, that screwdriver.
Yeah, so this electric motor here used to operate this lift, and Tim's going to grab this gold nugget. And yeah, the screwdriver has no usage, so it's going to ignore that. Got a good cycle on the back there, so that's very nice. And then this room here, where does it lead? There's another room next up called Leap of Faith. It's implied you're supposed to jump across, but there's nothing up there, so we just fall down here, go through this gold mine exit, and into the Forgotten Storeroom where there is a paintbrush. Now, remember I mentioned a vat of paint earlier? See if you can put 2 and 2 together.
Yep.
But at the top of here is a circuit board that Tim's going to grab. Still ignoring the stale bread.
And now we're ready for a new... we've got to go in here first.
Yeah, we've got to grab the armoured cable from here. This is the recharge room. We grabbed the cable from what was once Beep's recharge socket, but if you interact with that, you notice that Beep notices that his name has actually been scrubbed out.
Oh, I didn't need to go in there.
No, I just wanted to look at the graffiti again.
Yep.
Just check if he was definitely there or not. So yeah,
Okay.
the camera's still looking around furiously, and now he's going into the storeroom for the second and final time here. Now that you've got a paintbrush, Beep is going to paint himself red.
Yep. Paint it red. Yep, new paint job.
And because Beep is now red, he can actually fool the guards on the upper floor there into letting him past. Something you'll notice as well, by the way, is even though this is a modern game, it's been made to look like a Spectrum game, even to the point of having color clash in it. So you can actually switch the color clash off in the menus, but we choose not to because we're old school.
Yeah, I want the authentic Spectrum experience.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So now put the armored cable there. That makes this console open the door here. There is a few items in here. There's a fern that Tim needs to pick up just so he can find the circuit board behind it. There's a magpie in the top left here. It looks more like a canary, who's got a circuit board here. If you give them the gold nugget, they will trade you the circuit board. Tim's also used the shears there to get through that vine. And now Tim is going through the toxic waste room, which has some pretty tough drips in it, but very nicely done. Got through. Grabbed yourself a nice can of diesel there. And that is what Bloop needs, because for some reason, I don't know, he left it in the toxic wastes. And he's also grabbing this tree branch here, which looks kind of useless, but that is going to be part of our grand escape plan towards the end.
Part of Beep's escape kit.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
So now Tim's going to go across, pick up the cheese. The cheese is finally going to come into play. And now we're going to go into the workshop here. Speak to Bloop. Giving him the diesel, and in exchange for our kindness, he's given us a wrench. And we're going to use that wrench in the factory on the top floor. A little bit of a while to get to that factory, so again, we got time for a very short thing you can read, Huds, if you like.
Yeah, thank you very much. We've had $10 from Howlin' Mad Mike, who says, Tim, a poem. Good luck to Tim. Don't forget the key. And the Amiga's still not as good as the Atari ST.
I disagree, but we will discuss that.
But yeah, it's
Cheers, Mike.
nothing worse than being burned by rhyme, is there?
Yeah,
Like,
no, cheers, my friend.
it's like a roast battle. Right, Tim using the wrench here to fix this, these pipes here. That stops the steam from coming up and enables us to jump into the air vents. A couple of spiders that Tim needs to avoid here, and there is a mouse who is gatekeeping the left-hand side. You can bribe the mouse with some mouldy cheese. Not the branch.
No.
This
Hit it
mouse
with
is
a
not a
stick.
vegetarian.
Yeah, hit it with a stick.
Or vegan, rather. But yeah, the mouse has now fallen asleep from the mouldy cheese, because that's what mould does. And Tim's now grabbing a tarpaulin from the top of the pipes there.
Remind me not to forget the glue.
I will remind you that's...
Yep, that's what I did at BSG. I forgot the glue. So.
Ah, I see. Right, okay, yeah. So Tim now has a tarpaulin and a tree branch, and he's going to pick up the glue.
I've also got 30 circuit boards.
And 30
they're
circuit
all
boards as
done,
well. Yes, so now it's a nice little wander back over to the left of the level. So Tim is going to pick up, I think the glue's on the next.
It's on the first screen here, yeah. I
Yeah,
always
okay.
get confused between this one and the next one.
Oh, right, okay.
It's in here. Yep.
Oh, it's still in the lab.
It's still in
Okay,
the lab.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh. So yeah, a little bit of time before we get to the end. So another short message or two, Tods, we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had $20 from Nanaki Emmy, who says, "Woohoo! Time for some retro-style madness. Best of luck, Tiny Tim. I promise my donations will behave during this run. Also, Tiny is Tim for Darkest Dungeon 2 name."
Oh, thank you so much, Emmy. Thank you very much. We're all missing you, so I hope you feel better soon.
Awesome. Yeah, one more.
Yeah, $20 from Balglor says, "It's always a good time watching Tiny Tim indulge in robotic arson."
Yep. I'm very much a vandal, and so is Beep, so we get on well.
Yes. So, now we've got our full escape kit here. We are going up past the bats, or bats. And now, what's going to happen? Oh, that boulder is a red herring as well, by the way. You can take that, but that doesn't do anything. So now, basically, the boat that's on the left of the freedom area, we're going to use the glue to sew up a puncture in it. We're going to use the oxygen to fill it with air.
That's a new one.
Hey.
That's the platform there.
Yeah, I blame the platform and nothing but.
Yeah, no.
Oh, and then we got the glitch. Oh, apparently it works with red as well.
Glitch on top of it as well. That was fun.
But yeah, there's the glue. That's patched it up. So now Tim's grabbing the oxygen canister. He's going to inflate the boat. He's going to use the branch as a and the tarpaulin as a sail. Now he's going to sail off to a treasure island.
Time's coming up.
And he's not going to do what I did the other day, which is
Go back on the boat.
Go back on the boat. Yes. Don't go back. Don't forget your keys, gang. Very important.
Okay.
So jumping out there, you're going to speak to a little Martian who will give us freedom in exchange for 30 circuit boards. Fortunately, we have 30 circuit boards. Time.
And interestingly enough, just to describe why we've got a black screen here, the game has crashed.
Yes, basically you get rewarded for winning this game with nothing. So,
Yep.
There we go. Very nice.
Well, thank you very much, folks. That's a fantastic time, by the way.
That was
That's
good, yeah,
only about a
GG,
minute
Tim.
more than my PB, so very, very good with that.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that game. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me again, UKSG. Thank you for the amazing Ruffled Bricks, as usual. Yeah, thank you so much. Please keep donating your money towards prizes. Thank you for all your generous donations. And I will go away and get on with the next one.
And
Cheers.
where can they find you, Tim?
Oh, yes, I'm at twitch.tv/TinyTim78. I do all sorts of retro-style platformers. I do a little bit more modern stuff. I do a lot of casual stuff. I do all sorts of weird stuff like J2ME mobile games. I do a lot of point and clicks. I do all sorts of wonderful and varied stuff. So please read. And Ruffled Bricks.
Yeah, and he loves puns as well, by the way. Bring your puns. Yeah, twitch.tv/RuffledBricks if you want to see me play cartoony graphic games like this one or Baba.
Okay, thanks very much. Hand it back over to Huds. Cheers.
Thank you, and I'm really glad you mentioned the puns there, because, Tim, you thought you got away with it, but you didn't. Because we've had a $10.69 donation from the bear in the big blue house.
Oh, no!
Nice.
Oh, no!
Who says, "I barely made it to catch Tim's run." We all love the bear puns, right? It would have been unbearable to miss this run. As for Ruffled Bricks, good luck with Bad Riju. I barely managed to get to the 3rd level. That game is unbearably hard.
That's bear jokes.
Can I just say, Bear, that you're later on, okay? You're not supposed to be here yet. But thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it.
Fantastic run there of Beep's Escape, a wonderful modern game made to look retro. But let's go on to a proper retro run next. We got Howlin' Mad Mike coming up with RoboCop. Don't go anywhere.